Let's talk about, and I'm less talking about policies than the dynamic of running against Donald Trump, because as we saw in 2016, he is a formidable candidate and a very unconventional candidate.
Right.
He's already making fun of your name. He's making fun of your looks, comparing you to Alfred E. Newman. If you say, "What me worry right now," I'll give you $10, by the way. But seriously, how would you deal with him? Because that's one of the concerns, I think, for Democrats. Who can be on the debate stage, and how would you handle the insults and the attacks and the tweets and all of that?
The tweets are, I don't care. And that gets a lot of applause here. The fact is, it's a very effective way for him to reach tens of millions of Americans. Well, it's a very effective way to command the attention of the media. And I think that we need to make sure that we're changing the channel from this show that he's created. Because what matters, and I get it, look, it's mesmerizing. It's hard for anybody to look away. Me too. It is the nature of grotesque things that you can't look away. But every time we're looking at the show and the latest tweet and the latest silly insult, what we're not looking at is the fact that we're the ones trying to get you a raise and they're the ones blocking it. We're the ones trying to preserve your health care and they're the ones trying to take it away. We are the ones who are actually prepared to deliver on something like paid family leave, and they're against it. Their positions, as a general rule, are unpopular. And if we focus on what's going to happen in your life, in other words, if we make it less about him and more about you, paradoxically, I think that's actually the best way to defeat him. Now, the other thing we've got to do is we've got to find people where they are. You know, a lot of folks in my party were critical of me for even doing this with Fox News. And
I've heard that.
and I get where that's coming from, especially when you see what goes on with some of the opinion hosts on this network. I mean, when you got Tucker Carlson saying that immigrants make America dirty, when you've got Laura Ingraham comparing detention centers with children in cages to summer camps, then there is a reason why anybody has to swallow hard and think twice before participating in this media ecosystem. But I also believe that even though some of those hosts are not always there in good faith, I think a lot of people tune into this network who do it in good faith. And there are a lot of Americans who my party can't blame if they are ignoring our message, because they will never hear it if we don't go on and talk about it. And so it's why, whether it's going into the viewership of Fox News or whether geographically it's going into places where Democrats haven't been seen much, I think we've got to find people where they are, not change our values, but update our vocabulary so that we're truly connecting with Americans from coast to coast.
All right, Mayor, we've got to take a break here.
This is Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg, who has to be thrilled with this reaction from the crowd at a Fox News televised town hall. And that's because South Bend, Indiana's Mayor Pete came under fire for appearing on Fox News in the first place, for legitimizing and earning ad revenue for a network that traffics in hate and racism and bigotry. And a lot of that pressure came after another Democratic presidential candidate, Elizabeth Warren, explained her rationale for icing out the network. She tweeted that Fox is a hate-for-profit racket that gives a megaphone to racists and conspiracists. It's designed to turn us against each other to provide cover for the corruption that's rotting our government and hollowing out our middle class. That it balances a mix of bigotry, racism, and outright lies with enough legit journalism to make the claim to advertisers that it's a reputable news outlet, but it's all about dragging in ad money. And that a Democratic town hall gives the Fox News sales team a way to tell potential sponsors it's safe to buy ads on Fox. That she's done hundreds of interviews in 17 states, and that while Fox is welcome to come to her events, she won't ask Democratic voters to tune into Fox News to add money to a network that profits in hate. And that is a perfectly valid excuse. And she's right in the sense that so long as the network is profitable for its advertisers in its current form, there's no reason to change. But if a Democrat is going to do a town hall on Fox News, Buttigieg's appearance is a clinic in how to do so, using it to call out hosts on that very network. I mean, he literally used their primetime airtime to serve a blow to their own hosts, which is absolutely well-deserved. Because while there are anchors on Fox News who are legitimate, like Chris Wallace and Shep Smith, It's their opinion hosts who get primetime slots and who actually represent the network. And these people unapologetically, shamelessly, and unabashedly serve as Trump mouthpieces with not a modicum of accountability or integrity. They demonize immigrants and spread conspiracy theories and serve as a safe haven for Republicans looking for softball interviews where they can lie to millions of viewers with no recourse. So to see Buttigieg use this platform that they so wanted him to appear on to then call them out on their home turf is beyond necessary. And look, I understand both sides of the coin, why someone would refuse to appear on the network and why it could be beneficial to do so. But we've heard complaints about it from Republicans as well. And that conservatives would pile on, would have anything to say about this when their candidate, Trump, has barely done any interviews for networks that aren't fawn fests is ridiculous. When Trump goes on MSNBC, or when Fox gives airtime to Republican primary challengers like Bill Weld, then Republicans can pile on Democrats for not opting to give oxygen to the bad faith talking heads on Fox News. But Buttigieg didn't just use Fox's own airtime to trash the network. On the subject of Trump's tweets and insults and nicknames, by virtue of trivializing them, by exposing their grotesque nature, he set the stage perfectly for Trump to embarrass himself when he would inevitably tweet out whatever predictable, tired insult he could muster. And lo and behold, Trump did just that, tweeting that Fox is wasting airtime on Mayor Pete, that the network shouldn't cover Democrats at all, that he doesn't like Chris Wallace, and that Buttigieg will never be president. How surprising that Trump didn't enjoy watching his one and only vestige of sycophantism respond so well to a Democrat. Almost like the guy realizes that if Fox's viewers watched a competent, articulate, compassionate politician with good ideas and didn't just fearmonger and lie, they might actually respond well. Who could have guessed? And so when Buttigieg gets standing ovations on the heels of basically calling Trump's tweets a car crash that you can't look away from, and then Trump goes right on to do exactly that, it only lends credence to Buttigieg's message, that this presidency's novelty was in its grotesqueness, and that it's all but worn off. Honestly, imagine watching a live audience on your only friendly network give someone an ovation for calling you out on your petty tweets, and your response is to tweet a petty tweet. Trump is a one-trick pony, and even at the most politically opportune moment, he couldn't help himself but to prove exactly that. And so while Buttigieg's appearance on Fox News was always a risk, it's clear that the Democratic candidate made the best of it. And with final moments like this, it's no wonder Trump is getting nervous.
I hope you'll join me in making sure that that next era is better than any that we've had so far.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you. Wow, a standing ovation.